name is Cole, and today I'm doing a review of my experience on the Small Boutique Cruise by Cruise MILFORD. My wife and I just got done with a 2-week vacation to New Zealand, and while we were there, of course, we had to do the cruise at Milford Sound. We decided to book last minute because we wanted to make sure there was good weather, and it was a little overwhelming because there were so many options for cruises. We wanted to make sure we were getting a good deal. We didn't know if we needed to get transportation to the boat docks. We didn't know which company offered the best experience. So today my goal for this video is to answer those questions. I wanted to show the process of our decision and talk about getting to the boat dock, as well as our experience and my honest review of the cruise. We ended up booking the #1 recommended cruise on TripAdvisor because it claimed to be less crowded. It said the boat only filled to 50% capacity, and that allowed you to have more freedom moving around the boat and seeing the sights. It also said because the boat was smaller that they could get closer to the attractions, and we decided that sounded pretty fun. The pricing, it was $93 each. That seemed to be about the cheapest option. There were some other cruises that offered a buffet or more snacks and stuff, but we decided that we weren't there for the buffet or the food. We were there to see the attractions, and we thought that the Small Boutique Cruise sounded the best. So that's the one we went with. I wanted to just give some quick tips for arriving there. You do have to go through this tunnel about 15 minutes from the boat docks. So I would plan, because sometimes you have to wait about 10 minutes before you can go through. The first parking lot is free. It's a 25-minute walk from there to the boat terminal, which we decided to do. You could also go to the paid parking, which was $10 an hour before 3 p.m. or $5 per hour after 3 p.m. They have a credit card machine with tap to pay, so that's super convenient if you decide to do that. The walk to the boat docks is super beautiful, kind of gives you a little taste of what you're about to see. When you walk into the building, you'll go to the stand of whichever cruise you're at. They will get you checked in, and then you go stand in line and wait for your cruise. If you got there early, you could get a better spot. We got there late, of course, but we still got a good spot on the back of the boat. We thought it would be fun to sit on top of the boat so we could see the stuff better, but we ended up moving around the boat pretty quickly. The first thing you see on your right is this huge waterfall just shooting out of the rocks. The next thing we did, of course, was get the snacks. They had peppermint tea that was really good, and cookies and coffee, and we were snacking on those things the whole trip. They had milk, so you could just dip your cookies in the milk, which I was doing, and that was really fun. The cruise continued, and we were able to see a lot more waterfalls. Sitting at the front now, we got sprayed by some water, but it was kind of all fun and part of the experience. The next attraction was this waterfall that fell right onto the water, and our captain warned us to get off the front because he was going to go right underneath it. If you were sitting up there, you would have gotten soaked, so we quickly ran inside before we got drenched. The next part of the experience was going all the way out to the Pacific Ocean. So the boat took us past more waterfalls and rock formations, and finally we could get out to open sea. And he turned around and we went straight for the Otter Rock. There were lots of otters to see, and we weren't too excited about those because we're so used to the monk seals in Hawaii, but it was kind of fun to get close to those. I felt like we got closer than the other boats. The next attraction we hit was another waterfall, which was super cool. It was really tall, and our small boat was able to get right up close to it, and it was just spraying our faces with water, and that was really fun for us. Next, we went to see a glacier through the pass. We couldn't really see it that well. I think it was a little late into the season, but after that we were headed back to the docks. There were a few other attractions we got to see along the way, some cool rock formations and mountains, but I think the waterfalls were kind of the highlight. I didn't really understand that going into it, but it was fun. Our boat was really cool because we could roam around. You can see it's pretty empty. They kind of gave you free reign, so you could just roam around the cabin, go upstairs, go downstairs. There was bathrooms and the snack bar like I showed earlier. The other boats we saw did seem like they would be a little more crowded. It did look cool though because they didn't have a roof, so you could sit on the top without anything obstructing your view. I am glad we chose ours though because there was less crowds and I felt like we were the only ones on board sometimes sitting up at the front. The snacks were great and we overall just loved our experience. It was so cool to be on the water. You could just go up and see that view that I'm showing now, but I feel like being there on the water, going right up to the waterfalls made the trip so much better, and it was probably one of our highlights in New Zealand. One final tip, make sure to turn your lights off after exiting the tunnel. We forgot to do this and we had to get a jump start. But that concludes my review of the small boutique cruise by Cruise Milford. Overall, we were super happy with our decision. We loved it and I would recommend it to anyone.